Hey guys, welcome back to the Hooch Report. This is Drew, and as promised in the last episode on the Gracias A Dios Mexican gin, I did find a second Mexican gin at Total Wine, which is called Condesa Gin Classica. There was another flavor, or I guess type that Condesa makes, and it had like a prickly pear undertone to it. I wanted to try something a little less fruit forward and more herbal. In the Japanese gins, there's a lot of like yuzu and satsuma fruit. So I thought, to kind of keep things a little interesting, I'm gonna go with the traditional. They call it, the classic dry gin, using uh, Mexican botanicals that you wouldn't normally find anywhere else. So very excited to try this and get into it with you. All right, so from my brief research into kind of the Condesa brand, what I could gather is that it is a relatively new distillery. It's, these products they haven't necessarily been on the market for a long time, which is probably why I haven't seen them in Total Wine until recently. It is located in what I believe is Mexico City. However, I may be wrong, but it's definitely located in the country of Mexico. And then the owner, master distiller, is a woman, which is actually pretty unique. I think they're really proud of that fact, and I'm all for it. It may even be why the logo has an homage to a woman burning some white sage. At least that's what I believe it looks like. But at least from my understanding, Condesa is relatively new, and it's really kind of a unique undertaking, and maybe they saw an opportunity to put the Mexican influence into the gin market and create a name for themselves. Unlike the Gracias A Dios gin, this gin is a grain-based spirit, and I believe they use corn, wheat, and rye as the base. So you're not going to get that tequila, mezcal, agave undertones like we did on the Gracias A Dios. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said in the last video, the Gracias A Dios is like a more, to me, reminds me more of a mezcal than a gin. But I'm excited to try this because it's a more traditional grain-based spirit body. And then they actually have a good number of botanicals, not 32. It's well within like the kind of standard range where you can get some real nuance in there. But they do have juniper berries Palo Santo, which I believe is a plant indigenous to the Mexican country. You got sage, which I assume may be like white or black sage. You got jasmine, myrrh, lime peel, orange peel, cedron, coriander seeds, elderflower, lavender, and rosemary. So we get a lot of those Mediterranean botanicals in there, as well as a few botanicals that are unique to Mexico, or at least Mexico-California border. Especially, plants don't really recognize borders, so I'm sure there's a California gin. I may have some overlap, but I'm excited to try it, and really, I'm hopeful that it's a unique gin that I'll want to come back to and sip again and again. So, just getting into the bottle itself, the logo is actually really cool. It has a very simple kind of graphic style. It's, it has some texture on the label for the graphic and the logo. It just kind of has a minimal but not overly minimalist look, like that you would find in like Scandinavian or like kind of Japanese gins. So maybe this is like a more Mexican take on a minimalist bottle or label. On the back, you have this cool glass embroidered, I don't know what to say. It's basically maybe like their sub logo. Looks like it's a woman holding up some sort of sage or something. But really kind of a neat nuanced detail in there. And then the top, it just says CDMX, but has a nice, really dark burgundy looking bottle top. So that said, I'm excited to get into it and get some flavor profiles to you. Okay, so getting into the bottle, I think I'll have an easier time opening this than the other one. You know, look at that. It definitely pays to have those kind of rip tabs on there. That's a very satisfying pop for sure. It even has a actual cork stopper in there. Just off the nose, I definitely get some of that orange and sage on there. Sage, if you never kind of had to deal with it, it's a very aromatic plant native to Mexico and the Southwest United States. It grows all over the world, actually. The leaves are aromatic. I really like it. I love to, when I see the plants, just grab a leaf and crush it and smell it in my hands. But I'm definitely getting the sage on here. A little bit of juniper. And then kind of a general sweetness. Let's see. Maybe I get a little bit of that coriander as well. Okay, I like that. Now, I haven't reviewed a gin where it has like a kind of corn base in there, but at least haven't reviewed it for this. But I've had corn-based gins before, so the body has a little bit of residual sweetness. I kind of like it. It definitely burns going down the throat. It's a little hot, but the botanicals, like I said, very herbal, but in a really nice way. Unlike the Gracias A Dios, where it tastes mostly like mezcal, maybe a little bit of juniper. This is like very much so a unique gin with a unique kind of spice flavor profile. It's probably a little more hot than I would like for just sipping on its own, but you know, I don't know what Palo Santo like actually tastes like by itself, but whatever the percentage of botanicals they use to mix in here to create a really nice Mexican experience, it definitely, you know, reminds me of just like the Southwest United States, Mexico, kind of just when I drink that, that's what I kind of imagine the landscape tasting like. It has a very nice terroir, and I'm actually pretty pleased with it. You know, I'm excited to try it with the tonic. I did get a different tonic this time than the elderberry, and it's the Mediterranean tonic. I thought the Mediterranean might go good with the more sage body of this, so let's give it a try. All right, so as promised, the Mediterranean Fever Tree tonic, a shot of the Condesa Gin, and one glass to mix them in. So, at least in Mediterranean tonic, from my understanding, they do use some sages and other Mediterranean botanicals in there. So a lot of like really oil-based leaf plants, because a lot of those plants carry fragrant oils in them, like rosemary, lavender, and all the sages. So immediately off the nose, you know, it's very sage forward. I think it complements the sage that I was picking up on just the shot itself. Let's give it a quick try. Oh yeah, that's super nice. A little bit of quinine, like all tonics, but it's really kind of muted. And then you get this really kind of like nice floral kind of wave that washes over your tongue of the gin. Um, for whatever reason, I'm getting a little like it kind of reminds me of. It really shouldn't. I don't know what's up with my tongue, but I'm getting like kind of an appley taste. And I know that's not in either of these things, but it's kind of refreshing like that. But yeah, just kind of like a real pleasant Mediterranean experience. Uh, the gin pairs super well. I think with a Mediterranean tonic, it probably blends in too well where you can't really differentiate the two. Maybe if I used an Indian tonic, it would have contrasted a little bit better. But I think if I wanted a Mediterranean kind of sagey drink with a good acidity and sweetness balance, then this is for sure a good option. Now by itself, like I said, really nice gin, really nice uh, herbal botanical kind of palate. It's a little hot compared to the Japanese gins, but if you like that kind of spice or that kind of warmth going down your throat, maybe for you. Um, Overall, I think it's a really nice take on the gin style with a Mexican cultural twist. And this one was $40, so it's a little bit more palatable on the price. In my opinion, I would recommend this as being worth your money. And until next time, keep sipping.